Once upon a time, I was considered one of the top newspaper advertisers in America. And I was really good. I had tons of ads out there. We were doing really, really well. And I became known as the newspaper guy, that every newspaper ad that I wrote was a winner. And then it went to my head and I started thinking of myself as bigger than what I really was. And then we came to a point where we were selling a diabetes health supplement that was targeting diabetes. And I couldn't get this thing to work. It bombed. I wrote an ad, bombed. I wrote another ad, bombed. Wrote another ad, bombed. Wrote another ad, bombed. And with each failed attempt, my ego started to completely deflate until I was just completely insecure about my skills all over again. But Christmas came around, went home for Christmas, visited my family. My dad at the time had diabetes, and we sat down for dinner, and he was like, "Oh, give me 1 second. I got to go get my diabetes pills." Took a diabetes pill, sat down for dinner, and I watched him take the pill. And I said, "Hey, how are those pills? How do they work?" He said, "They work really fast. They work great. They do what they're supposed to do. And by the way, they cost peanuts." And at the time, what I was selling was a health supplement that took 90 days to get the benefit from it. We were selling it for $69 or something for a 30-day supply. My dad was getting it for like €3 for a month's supply. And he just explained to me all of the reasons why what I was doing was wrong. I was essentially selling this product in an attempt to compete with a far superior solution. So it's like that old saying, if you have to compete against Tiger Woods, like how would you compete against him? Well, I wouldn't play golf. That would be the answer, right? I would compete with him, in some other sport or some other area. But what I was doing with this health supplement is I was essentially competing against drugs that worked better, worked faster, and were significantly cheaper. So what I realized was the big mistake that I was making is that I didn't find out what were the pros and cons associated with all the other solutions that I was competing against. I just assumed the best way to sell this is to promise the exact same solutions, the exact same benefits as everybody else is promising, but that didn't work. Mm-hmm. So I went back to the drawing board and I found out what are all the solutions that are available in the marketplace, all of the common solutions that everybody is aware of and everybody is using. Great. Let me get the list. Now let me determine what are the pros and cons. What are all of these, the things that these solutions do great? And what are all of the things that these solutions do really badly? Or what are the things that each one of these solutions is missing? And what I came up with was that while these diabetes drugs work really, really great at lowering your blood sugar, and they do it quickly and they do it effectively and they do it cheaply, guess what? They don't get rid of a huge problem that diabetics have, which is nerve pain. So they don't do anything for that. So I went back to the formulator and we formulated a completely different product. It was actually working with a client, and this guy went back and he formulated a completely different formula, and we came back with a solution that was targeting nerve pain. And we wrote the ad, and the ad went on to be very, very successful for that client. So one avenue of investigation for you to determine how can I come up with something new, unique, and exciting, something that people have never seen or heard of before, at least one. It's not that this is the definitive thing, but this is one line of inquiry, and that is make a list of all the categories of solutions that are in the marketplace that everybody is aware of, and then create a pros and cons list associated with each one of those categories. And what will present itself to you at that point in time is areas in the marketplace that are not being served, problems that are not being addressed, solutions that don't exist. This research will point you in a direction of a problem or a frustration or a fear or a want or a need, a desire that is not being served in the marketplace by your competitors. And perhaps just on that level alone, you might find a way to position your product, service, or solution. But